Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Out of the Ice. It is finally 2021 when this is releasing. We still have a week until then, but hopefully, there are rainbows every day, every night in the sky.
I hope everyone had a nice holiday.
Flying cars.
Yeah.
So hopefully things are starting to turn around. Hopefully the vaccine is progressing by then.
Hey,
hopefully there isn't a full-blown fucking civil war, essentially.
We're hoping for good things on this podcast.
Yep.
Speaking of good things.
So, to start off this year, hopefully put some good vibes out there. I figure, what's a good movie? What's a wholesome movie? What's a fucking weird movie?
Scott loves his weird.
I do love weird, but basically, what's a movie that tried to be Mary Poppins without being Mary Poppins, but did have Bert the Chimney Sweep in it?
Oh.
And that is Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Now, you've shown me a little bit of this movie once,
and by shown her, she means that I was watching it when she showed up to hang out back in college.
Yeah.
And then I paused it.
Yeah, you paused it, said you were going to watch it when you get back, and then you didn't.
I didn't because other shit happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she's seen a little bit, so she knows like the time period, basically. But other than that, I loved this movie as a kid. I have met many other people who love this movie. Mm-hmm. But it's one of those things, at least for me, where it's not constantly in my brain. Like sometimes I'll be like, man, what is that scene from? What am I thinking? Oh shit! Chitty Chitty Bang Bang! Hell yeah! So, have you ever heard of it besides for the interactions between you and me?
Honestly, I don't think so. Outside, maybe occasionally just hearing the title and going, that's weird. And then in passing, maybe part of it. Isn't Dick Van Dyke in this movie?
Yeah, that's why I said Bert the Chimney Sweep.
Okay, I couldn't remember who the actor was.
But yeah, so Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, not really a title that we get anymore unless it's like supposed to be salacious, oh man, like if a movie called Chitty Chitty Bang Bang came out today and this one had never existed, it'd be a porn.
What?
It'd be a porn. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, like come on. That's how sexualized everything here is, especially in Hollywood. Like, I could even hear executives, if you tried to pitch this movie to them, and it's like, all right, it's called Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. It's like, whoa, you sure you don't want braziers? Like, it's like, no, it's a family film. Oh, is it now? Security!
See, maybe it's just my brain that just automatically gravitates towards everything good and wholesome, but like I never would have thought that at first thought.
Clearly, I've not shown you enough of Hollywood. But
look, man, you haven't gotten me down to that bad yet.
But so it's a very fun story, a very whimsical story. Does magic exist? Maybe, or possibly it's just the magic of that era of Hollywood, where it's like suspension of disbelief was way fucking wide back then, just because color talkie movies were still a relatively new thing.
So this was all kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? A novelty?
Yeah, I mean, it was like Mary Poppins. Mm-hmm. Like this was back when I believe Mary Poppins was around the time where very recently up till then musical movies came packaged basically like a musical show in a theater, like an opera. Like it had a fucking playbook that would get handed out and stuff like that. Like I'm pretty sure what is it called? The Sound of Music, also with Julie Andrews, had that. This is a very interesting time. Now, this is not a Disney movie. If I remember correctly, it's a Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer film, MGM. So we're going to see The Lion begin. I actually have it over here. Right. I have a physical copy. I'm not doing any streaming services today. So yeah, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, starring Dick Van Dyke, Sally Ann Howes, and Lionel Jeffries. And yeah, it's MGM. And 20th Century Fox, I'm guessing that they just own the distribution rights or something. Because I don't really see them talking a lot. But just from the box here, you can tell it's very whimsical.
It definitely looks like a family kids movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very much in line with like Mary Poppins, Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
It does, like
Darby O'Gill and the Little People.
Like it almost kind of looks like a circus on the back cover.
Yeah.
Part.
Which Darby O'Gill and the Little People is another Disney movie, but it's pretty weird too. It's about an Irish guy, Darby O'Gill, and how he apparently met the leprechauns, the little people, and they respect him, and nobody believes him because he's a town drunk.
I think I remember you telling me about this.
Yeah, I probably told you about it because it's also, I think, the first, at least Hollywood production that Sean Connery was in.
Oh.
Like, way before James Bond. Like, he doesn't even look like Sean Connery. Which, didn't Sean Connery pass away recently?
I think so, yeah.
Damn shame. So, I don't know how much I can say about Chitty Chitty Bang Bang without giving away the ghost.
Like you said, what I've been finding interesting is you said, like, this movie doesn't really get talked about enough, but did it come out around the same time as Mary Poppins?
Well, let me see if it's got the release date on the box here. 1968. So, I believe Mary Poppins was 64 or 65?
Okay.
Somewhere around that time. I know Disneyland already existed for a while. I only know that because, well, of Saving Mr. Banks. Mm-hmm. But
because if it came out a few years later, maybe that's why, like, I never heard my mom talk about it. She may have been a little bit older for this part, whereas she holds Mary Poppins to, like, it's like her favorite movie, and she saw that when she was a little girl. Yeah,
but Dick Van Dyke is really good in this, and it's just like
he just looks so happy on the cover.
It's so interesting of a movie because, like, this is giving the completely wrong idea, but it's kind of like Inception, where there's a mixing of, like, there's a story being told,
okay,
and then there's the real world, and at least from what I remember as a kid, it starts to kind of mix together. So, like, it's just like, wait, so which is this that we're in right now? Is this the real world, or is this the story he's telling, or what is happening? But the whole time it's enjoyable.
Well, I guess just kind of got to run with it.
I mean, like, this lady on the cover here, I believe Sally Ann Howes, her name is Truly Scrumptious. First name Truly, last name Scrumptious. Now, you might think that that's completely bullshit. However, her dad is a candy factory owner. So it weirdly makes sense.
Yeah. Weirdly enough.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's just this really weird... Oh, and also, I forget if they actually use B-roll of this on, like, in the film, but see that castle there? It's like a German castle.
Yeah.
If you can find the cover art, ladies and gentlemen, please do so. But there's this castle here, a windmill, and then the car. That castle looks like the one that inspired Sleeping Beauty Castle.
Really?
So it's funny that it has Dick Van Dyke, the inspiration for the Disney castle, but it's MGM, who would then later pair up with Disney to make MGM Studios, and then get mad because Disney owned the park that they made, and slapped MGM's name on to be nice, as a sort of licensing thing. Mainly just because MGM was also very active during the golden age of Hollywood, which is what Hollywood Studios was supposed to emulate. Mm-hmm. And so they got mad, tried to sue Disney, might still be trying to sue Disney.
Seriously?
Maybe. And that's why it's called Hollywood Studios now. And it has been losing its theme ever since. Ooh. I mean, it doesn't even have the great movie right anymore. Now it's Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't always that.
No. Like, and it sucks because I loved The Great Movie Ride. It had this cool thing where a live actor was interacting with all these animatronics as he was leading you through the show, and then he got like ousted by a different guy who's playing a character.
Oh.
But like it's very interesting, and the xenomorph shows up in it from Alien.
What?
Yeah, in a Disney ride.
That's weird but neat.
But yeah, and again, I'm sorry I keep going about Disney, but I watch so much, Yesterworld, freaking Offhand Disney, Dave at Disney.
Everything, it just connects back to Disney for Scott.
Look, they're a huge player in Hollywood, to be fair.
They do own everything.
Not yet. But my God, if they someday buy MGM, good Lord, will that story have a weird fucking ending. It's like, hey, want to work together? Sure. Actually, no, I'm going to sue you. Okay. What's that? The money to buy you. But yeah, so I love this movie. I haven't seen it in a while, so I really hope it holds up. Because if not, we're going to come back and I'm going to be so sad.
Oh, all right. Well, just go ahead. You can pause here, give it a watch, and maybe by the time we'll come back, we'll be crying. Or maybe we'll just be like, oh, this was still cute.
145 minutes. So, we will see you after that.
All right.
Later.
You, pretty chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, we love you. And in chitty chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, what we'll do, near, far, in a motor car, oh, what a happy time we'll spend. Bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, our fine four-fendered friend. Bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, our fine four-fendered friend.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the movie if you watched. If not, what are you doing? Go out and watch it. We can wait.
Yeah, just
We're a podcast. We exist in a nebulous, timeless zone that only exists when you press play. But anyway, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, a delightful movie from 1968.
So funny story. You remember how we were talking about Sean Connery, like right before all this?
So, I recognized the name because in the title screen it said Ian Fleming's Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. I went, Ian Fleming, I know that name. Who is that? Was he a director? Who? No, he's a writer. Okay. He wrote the book, so I guess there was a novel or short story that... Famous for writing the James Bond books.
Guys, we didn't know this shit before we hit record. Scott was just looking it up during the opening sequence, and we just went, whoa.
And then the whole rest of the movie, I was trying to figure out how Kevin Bacon gets into this. It's like 7 degrees off Kevin Bacon. It's a thing where it's like, oh, any name you think of, within 7 steps you can connect them to Kevin Bacon because he was that prolific at that time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and like even to the point where you could usually connect people that aren't actors to Kevin Bacon. You know, it's like, oh, my mom met this guy who was an extra in this movie, which had this actor who worked with Kevin Bacon. Like that kind of person.
I got you.
Which I'm pretty sure probably Kevin Bacon's done something where Dick Van Dyke was in it, so probably like only 1 degree off Kevin Bacon.
But yeah, that was just a weird little quinky dink that we noticed very early on. Like, weird.
Yeah, but yeah, and I love that my copy of the movie still has all of the stuff from the theatrical run, aka the sounds on a black screen, which is letting people get into their seats at the last minute.
I legit thought like the disc was broken for a second.
Yeah, she kept looking over to me, and I'm like, no, it's fine. This is just how it is. I think the VHS chopped that off, if I remember correctly. That or I just always rewound it to right before that point. But and it also still has the intermission. It has, which she used. She used the intermission to go pee.
Yeah, I mean, I might as well.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that it would have been interesting and probably very useful if Lord of the Rings had intermissions.
Oh my god.
Like, because nowadays it's like, oh, it's such a hassle when a movie is so long, right? Mm-hmm. Dude, just fucking put the intermissions in movies back in problem solved. It's now an event. It's a day.
I'm thankful that, like, I guess, like, I was late to the Lord of the Rings party because I watched them all on DVD before going to EIU. And, like, every single movie, I had to pause and take a good solid break at least once because the movies are long.
Yeah. Honestly, it's one of my shames that I've still never seen them. Any of them fully. Because they're that goddamn long. It's just such a... Like, because if you watch the first one, you gotta watch the other two. They're 3 pieces of a whole. So that's a huge chunk of time.
That's a commitment. Again, the only reason I was able to sit down and watch them because I wasn't actually working. I had like a week of just sitting at a house with an elderly dog that I was dog sitting. Yeah, I had nothing else to do.
I don't have time for that. I'm a struggling artist YouTuber with no job at the moment.
Yeah.
Like, I have shit to do that hopefully will get me money.
Yeah, so
but yeah, like, so eventually and eventually for the podcast, we'll do a reverse where I'm the one in the hot seat. You know? That being said, let's get to the actual movie. So, it's very clear that this is based on a 60s era kids book. The main dude's name is like Cartonicus or something.
Yeah.
Cartonicus.
I remember when... Because it was just Mr. Potts the whole movie.
Yeah, and then he finally goes, Copernicus.
And, like, I even missed that, but, like, at the end credits, when it showed his first name, I'm like, how the fuck do you even say that?
Yeah, it's like, oh, Mr. Potts, Copernicus. Yeah, I know it's a silly name, but, I think it's a lovely name. And I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't. You are lying.
You would immediately just call him Potts or shorten that name somehow.
Yeah, Cacturn.
Yeah.
Cacturn Potts. Woo! He hangs out in the desert.
Oh my god.
So he is an inventor, but more importantly, he's Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah, very, very important.
I'm pretty sure post Mary Poppins, because I think Mary Poppins was 64 or 65?
I'm pretty sure. Let's double check that.
Maybe 62.
1964.
64. So honestly, very close to Walt's death, actually. He died in 65, I believe. Mm-hmm. Either 65 or 66. So Walt would have been dead by now. Mm-hmm. Oh man. That's weird, because it's classic MGM. So it has that classic MGM movie feel, where, like, it does kind of feel like this was the same studio that made Wizard of Oz, like, a few decades back. But also, it does kind of have that feel of Mary Poppins and Bedknobs and Broomsticks, because it's clearly trying to be that. Because Mary Poppins won all the awards. Actually, it might have only just won one, but I know it's won a shit ton over the years. Mm-hmm. So, like, of course, everyone's trying to be that.
It was a winning formula.
Yeah, and, like, even Disney tried to be that in making Bedknobs and Broomsticks, where, like, the main lead, like, the male lead, is Mr. Banks. It's the same actor. Like,
oh.
Yeah, and actually I think Julie Andrews almost, like, applied for the role of the witch in Bedknobs and Broomsticks. But they had already cast by the time she was like, actually, I think I might do this. Mm-hmm. And then it would have basically just been Mary Poppins 2, but we don't have the rights. We don't have the rights, so let's make it about this other book. But,
we had some long opening credits in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang
that are showing the history of the car that would become Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Mm-hmm. And it originally, because that's where I saw the Ian Fleming name, I'm like, Ian Fleming. Well, this is a bunch of race car footage, and it's in the 60s. Is he the guy that made The Love Bug? Like the Herbie movies?
Yeah.
No, it's the James Bond guy. But, so, like, it kind of has that feel starting out, where it also kind of feels like The Love Bug. I don't know if The Love Bug was made yet. That might have been the early 70s. all this stuff where it's this, great racing car. It wins all these races, all this stuff, but then it gets outclassed. It gets outdated. It's a car. Lightning McQueen shows up and it's like, ka-chow, and then it's dead.
Rip.
And Owen Wilson, who's voicing him, goes, wow.
Whoa. At one point during the race, one of the cars is about to hit a little girl and the dog, and my first thought was, "Oh no, the dog!"
Fuck the little girl, the dog though.
And immediately after, the car got wrecked, and then I'm like, "Oh god, the poor car." Little girl was the third thought.
Yep. But so this just in: Kat hates children. And wants them to die.
Absolutely not.
I did your work for you, Internet. You're welcome. Her Twitter is... No, I'm kidding. I mean, they know it, probably. I don't know.
If they've been paying attention, they know what it is.
Yeah. And if it's your first episode, go watch the others. They're pretty good. But yeah, so... That's basically all just prelude of, how did this car get in this junkyard? Because that needed to be explained.
Apparently.
Yeah. Probably meant more in the book because of the differences from the book to the movie. I looked a little bit on the wiki. But so these two kids, Jeremiah and...
God, what was her... God, what
Johanna?
Was it? No, Jeremy.
No, the boy is Jeremiah.
I thought it was the other way around. I don't know why I thought that.
Why would a girl be named Jeremy?
I don't know. No, not here. Frick. Right.
I think her name is Johanna. It's like Johanna and Jeremiah. I think they both have the same first letter.
I know they have the same first letter, but I'm like, no, I swear to God. Where is it cast? Jeremy and Jemima.
Jemina, okay.
Yay, my memory worked.
Those are weird names, but it does take place in England, so again,
yeah.
But yeah, these two kids, it doesn't matter what their names is, they never use them, they just call them children. They're playing in the car, and then this junkyard guy, who I'm pretty sure is also the actor who plays the kid catcher. He was doing the same kind of faces. I didn't check the credits, but they may have been doing a Wizard of Oz thing where the kids are imagining the characters that they don't like as certain people.
Yeah. If I end up rewatching the movie, I'll have to look out for that.
Mm-hmm. Or I think the chauffeur for Truly's dad was the spy who was the most competent. Either that or, again, just similar hairstyle and I'm face blind. But, so they're in this car, and this guy who basically is a junker is like, hey, I'll buy it off you to scrap it. And they're like, what are you going to do to the car? And it's like, I'm going to scrap the car. I'm going to put it in the clapper. And it'll go into one piece of metal, and then we'll melt it down. And then the car, visibly shakes. And the kids are like, look what you done. You scared her. Oh, you scared her now. That's not cool. Really unchill, bro. That is not cash money. So says I, Cockney child actress.
The energy was there.
Yep. And so they start to run home.
Also he did threaten children. He said he'd throw them in there too.
Yeah, but it's England. That's just a normal threat that can't it's just like, well, maybe I shouldn't be such a cock, children. Maybe I wouldn't have to put you in the kill machine. If I think of that, off you go. I'm a policeman. So they run off into the street to try to go to their dad, but they almost get hit by a car, and Kat was cheering.
I was not.
But then she veered out of the way.
I even commented, man, kids sure almost get run over by cars a lot in this movie.
But so the car swerves out of the way, goes into a puddle, which will become, well, not actually more of a lake, a pond. Let's go with pond.
Yeah, pond seems accurate.
and it's going to become a running gag.
I love it.
A running gag of, I'm pretty sure, recycled footage.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
I'm pretty sure they put it into the car. Like, they put the car into the pond once, and then they just kept it there. Mm-hmm. And then did all the scenes with that. Because, like, sometimes she's able to drive out of it. Sometimes she's not, and it seems to be the same depth, so I'm not sure what the fuck is going on there. But it turns out to be a woman named Truly Scrumptious. Yes, I know.
Yeah, what a
that
name.
is her name. Yes, yes, viewer.
There's a whole song with her name.
Yep, yes, viewer who didn't watch and just continued to look at us. Yeah, that is her name. So, she's there, and she's like, well, that was stupid. Like, what? Also, why aren't you in school? And I'm like, oh, that's right, school does exist in this universe. I always forget that they brought that up. Then, like, it's like, oh, we didn't go because we're Cockney. And it's like, oh, well, I'm posh English, and I don't think that's very well to do, so I'm going to take you to your father. Oh, we get to ride in a motor car. Whee! Woo! We were just in a motor car, but for some reason we find this fucking chill as shit.
So they drive back, which Scott notices that they're not using a green screen for this.
Yeah, sometimes they do use a blue screen, because the outline on them looked blue. So I'm pretty sure they were using a blue screen, which I think makes sense because I'm pretty sure blue screen is an older technique, maybe. And then like they would use, I think they would use like a special camera projector, and that would put it on a thing and ignore the color. Meanwhile, they have another thing that's I don't know.
But I never even knew that blue screen was a thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's an older tech, and it was like basically the green screen that could work without computers. Mm-hmm. And so they go to the home, and their dad, who is a struggling, poor inventor on really hard times, who lives in a lavish manor cottage in the fucking English countryside right next to a town on a hill with a windmill. Even the 60s, they can't escape. They don't know what poor is. They don't know.
The house was weird, like, on the inside, though. Because, like, it looked very...
Well, it's an inventor's house.
Yeah, well, like, I mean, like, size-wise, it was very... It felt very, like, open, but also compact at the same time. I don't know how else...
That's called English countryside design. And, like, a lot of houses there that I've seen on TV look like that.
Okay.
It's just, they're narrow, but, like... tall.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know. Of course it doesn't go into like how he's able to have that house. If maybe,
of course not.
it was the father's, and now he owns it and is making the dad who used to own it now, stay in a room with a fucking hole in the roof. Which we never see if that gets fixed. I mean, it's just a gag, but I want to know. Also, then again, they're all fucking rich by the end. Spoilers. But, so, he's there and he's testing a rocket pack. He wants to be the Rocketeer. And so he's got his rocket pack on. And Truly is like, what the hell is he doing? And it's like, oh, Daddy's trying to invent a jetpack. So you just read the Rocketeer comics he did. So I'm full support. My Cockney is going Winnie the Pooh. It's for support there. Do you have any honey?
No. But, spoiler alert.
It doesn't work.
The dog just kind of barks at him as he's just trying not to fall on his ass.
Yeah, running around with the freaking frame rate up. And then Truly, still showing that, especially for the time, because I'm not sure exactly when this movie is supposed to take place, but I think at most, like, we have like, because the way that the cars look and the factory, I'm gonna guess like 1910s, 20s, or 30s.
You'd be pretty right, because the story according to Wikipedia, story opens with a montage of the Grand Prix races, yada yada. It appears to win every race it runs from 1907 until its final race in 1909. Car eventually ends up in an old garage in rural England, so probably a few years after that.
Yeah, the 1910s, probably. So right around the time of the English Industrial Revolution, as far as I'm aware. And that lines it in. I think some of the clothing doesn't fit. Specifically, Lord Scrumptious seems to be wearing a very modern tux, but maybe tuxes just haven't changed that much. They do seem like very antiquated clothing, and I don't know why anyone still wears them.
I don't know.
I've had to wear a suit. They're the worst. They're awful, and don't let anyone tell you that they are high fashion, because they're not. They are not. They suck. They suck so bad. The only thing worse is that stuff specifically made for fashion shows that has no practicability.
Like,
I hate them. Fuck you, Men's Warehouse.
like, again, it was weird because I've seen you in the suits before. Like, again, you look very nice in them. It's just you look miserable.
They're awful. They're awful and restrictive. Like, no. I don't care how high of a status I had. If I didn't have to, forced by some other boss, I would not wear one. Like, if I somehow become an actor, good lord. Like, no, I'm not showing up to a red carpet in a fucking Germani suit or whatever. Nah, you know what I'm showing it? Like, sweatpants, shirt. And then be like, who are you wearing? And I'm like, JCPenney.
Target,
Yeah.
as my coworker used to call it.
Target. Walmart. Hot Topic. Because it is hot in Topeka.
Oh my god.
But yeah, so she shows herself to be not useless for a 1910s character. So
like
cool.
Specifically, I know I'm like, she can drive, take action, and look like you're like a nice traditional lady. Like, God, that's progressive for that time.
Now, of course, you know, it does still do the thing where, oh man, you're attractive male character. Well, I'm attractive female character, and we're both, you know, not minors. So I guess we're fucking.
And, you know, a little bit of casual sexism here and there, like, oh, lady, you should know how to fix a car if you're going to drive a car. He's just kind of making fun of her ability. At least that's the impression I got.
Yeah, but I could also see me being told that. It's like, dude, if you're going to drive a car, you should know how to fix it. And I'm like, yeah. That, and again, 1910s, you know, like, cars were more specialized vehicles. So it kind of makes sense if you would actually read the owner's manual. I mean, they're not even fully covered yet. You know? Like, if you want to drive that shit in the rain, you better be bringing an umbrella. Yeah, so she puts him out. And he is just like, oh, well, thanks for ruining my invention. It's like, motherfucker, I just saved your life. And it's like, nah, the jacket's flame-proof. And she's like, well, I didn't fucking know that. And he just kind of pauses for a second, like, okay, that's a fair one. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. That's fair. Couldn't have seen that from observation, really, from where you were. Gotcha. Got that. Get off my property.
He basically very, very politely told her to fuck off.
Yep. I think also partially because he was insulted, because it's like, did you know your kids didn't go to school? And it's like, oh, well, cool. The kids have another chance to catch up. And so I'm like, does that mean, are the kids supposed to be smart? Like, are they supposed to be really, really intelligent? Because I
did not get that impression from later events.
No. So
he just kind of has the kids there as his hype man, as I noted. Like, it's like, isn't Daddy great at inventing things?
Yeah, it's very much the like, I am your dad, but I also really need you in my corner because I am a mess.
Oof.
Which, you know, hashtag mood. I don't have any kids, but I get that feel. So he's like, oh, well, you know, here you go. Off you go. Get out. And so then they have a Rube Goldberg machine cooking them breakfast during the song I Have You Too, which is a very delightful song and very, very, very Dick Van Dyke. Dick Van Dyke sings it. That's really cool. I like that. Not my favorite song in the movie. We'll get to that. I have two favorite songs, actually. I have a favorite song, and then I have a favorite, like, nostalgic memory song. Like, the part I remember the most from the movie. And so it's like, oh, okay, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Let's eat breakfast. Oh, hey, Grandpa, you only get an egg.
I was like, the whole time I'm just like, stop. Feed Grandpa. Feed Grandpa.
Grandpa can walk around. He's fine.
Feed Grandpa.
He can make his own goddamn breakfast, the freeloader. Complaining about my inventions. Well, why don't you have a job, Grandpa? Military ain't giving you any pension checks. Or maybe they are, I don't know. But
there's a big hole in his roof.
And I'll get to it. After the car I just bought on a whim.
Oh, ooh.
Priorities.
Damn, that's relatable.
But, so, yeah, they tell him about the car, and it's like, oh, you can buy it from him instead, and it'll be saved. Oh, well, okay, cool, yeah, whatever. For 30 pence! Or 30 shillings! 30 shillings!
I'll make that work, sweetie.
Go to bed, kids. Go to bed. Daddy needs to nurse his pride. Go to bed. Go to bed. I'm gonna go eat candy with the dog. Oh my God, Einstein! You found out that the whistle whistles.
The dog learned how to play the recorder.
Which is so clearly dubbed because he has his mouth hanging open in so much of it.
Yeah.
I wonder if those were actually candy or if they were plastic.
You know what?
I hope it was dog safe candy, just in case he did go on a take or two. But anyway, so he finds out that these candies that he's been trying to make, but they have holes in them. And he's like, oh, it must be something wrong with the temperature of the machine. I'm working on it. But because they're holes all the way through, it creates a flute out of candy. And these do exist, by the way. They're called like melody pops. But in here, they're called toot sweets. Well, originally they're called whistle sweets. And then they changed to toot sweets because that works better in a song. So he goes to Scrumptious Sweets and is like, oh, you know, I need to see Mr. Scrumptious. No one sees Mr. Scrumptious. You can come back in 3 months. And then it's like, oh, hello, Mrs. Truly Scrumptious, the woman from yesterday who turns out to be the boss's daughter. Oh, man. See, if some asshole had been rude as shit to you, to the point where he recognizes he was rude as shit to you, suddenly realized that you were not only the heiress to a rich guy, aka holla holla get dollar if you get married, but also that you could have been his way in, well, he'd really feel right fucked. And Dick Van Dyke's like, yeah, that's accurate. Well, come along, kids. And it's like, wait, no. I like your kids, I guess, even though they were brats. But I guess I like them now. Daddy, talk to him.
And Daddy ignores and ignores.
Daddy ignores. But then like Dick Van Dyke starts singing in front of the dude, and I'm like, dude, listen, Dick Van Dyke is singing 5 feet from you. Listen, man.
Take advantage of the situation. This will never happen in most people's lives.
Dude, man, the only thing better is if he starts tap. Oh, he's tap dancing.
Oh, God.
He's tap dancing right in front of you.
Noted.
We gotta code Dick Van Dyke.
Them legs go high.
Yeah, well, again, this is post-Mary Poppins, and since then, he's been dancing every day. Still.
Real.
To this day. He says it keeps him young.
Aww.
He just had a birthday recently, and Twitter freaked out because the way Twitter mentioned it, the only thing trending was Dick Van Dyke. So everyone was like, no, he can't die. 2020 can't take another.
No.
Not him. Not him. No, he's okay.
Because I legit thought he was dead.
No, he's okay now. He's okay for now.
Oh no.
But yeah, so he is dancing around being like, oh, toot sweets, blah, 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 blah. But the whistles are too good. And they start bringing in the doggos.
Summon dogs.
Summon doggos.
And I'm just going, oh, or all over the whole place.
Yeah, and like, you know, they're treating it like this is a bad thing. And I'm like, dude, this is another talking point to getting this sold. Yo, you like dogs? You want a dog today? Toot sweets. Now you have a dog. Congratulations.
You have a dog and candy. What more would a child want?
Yeah, you now have a dog. Where'd the dog come from? Whose collar is that? Fuck it, who cares? It's yours now. Don't pay any mind to the kid hollering in the background, Biscuit! Biscuit, where are you, boy? That dog is yours. By right. By right of the whistle. Does that kid have a toot sweet? No? Then you are legally allowed to kill him for his dog. Toot sweets. Get them at your Walgreens. Why am I not hired for advertising gigs?
Jeez, I wonder, Scott.
Look, all I'm saying is Adult Swim advertising. Hire me.
I mean, yeah.
Comedy Central, Spike TV, any of these.
But yeah.
Your audience will get it's a joke, probably. But yeah, so now they're all disgraced and they have to leave, and he's like, oh, how am I gonna get this you know, oh no,
I'm poor, what am I gonna do?
I'm poor, I can't get the car, kids. It's like, oh, that's okay, you can have our bullshit trash. And it's like, oh, no thanks, kids, that's worth literally nothing.
Jeremy and I have been thinking, it's our treasure chest. These things are enormously valuable.
All these wonderful things, they're very precious. Afraid other people wouldn't appreciate them because other people don't see things the way you do. Come on now, let's go to bed.
But here, have this cool ass Lullaby Victrola thing that's also a mobile that I invented that I'm not selling.
It's working.
It's working perfectly. Plays the whole song completely in time, never loses key, and ends when it's supposed to.
And yeah, he shows off
a hair cutting machine that he's never tested that night.
Yeah.
Like, the whole time that song was going on, I'm just like, bro, Dick Van Dyke, Mr. Potts, Mr. Dykeser, like, sell that thing. Just sell it with a little pamphlet that has the lyrics you came up with. New sleep aid for children. Never be bothered by your shit kids again. They'll automatically fall asleep. Watch. See? They're all on the ground snoozing. Teachers too. Your kid's not paying attention? Well, did you know you can learn in your sleep? So,
Billy being annoying for the 5th time today.
Beat him. With them sick beats. And your belt.
Oh no.
So you know, they're asleep now, and he's like, oh, what am I gonna do? You know, how am I gonna get this money? Oh, hey, there's a circus coming to town. But yeah, how am I gonna get this?
Ooh, I can peddle my shit.
Okay, so I just invented a thing that tastes delicious, would fit in at a carnival or circus, and plays music. I'm gonna invent an untested hair cutting machine. Bro,
again, I was thinking, like, after this whole sequence, like, dude, you're obviously good at dancing. Just, like, make dancing your quote unquote day job and just do the inventing as a passion project.
And the thing is, in most musicals, you can usually suspend your disbelief that the singing and dancing isn't actually happening. Mm-hmm. It's just to match the emotions of what the scene is portraying. Mm-hmm. But it's not actually happening. You know, like, if you are fucking watching Beauty and the Beast and the song, you know, like, there must be something there that wasn't there before. That's not actually being sung. That's just time is passing, and this is how we get there.
But this scene,
he gets money from the dance. So clearly this actually happened. You know, and he was able to catch on to the music incredibly quickly.
And I love the beginning because he was like out of sync.
He was out of sync, but he was still getting the choreography down.
He was still
able to do all of the moves.
He was owning it, even though he wasn't 100% like.
Through the thing, they ended up making him basically the lead.
Yeah.
And all this stuff, which actually a cool visual thing. They gave him a different color of pants so that even in the wide shots, you can tell which one is him. Because they all have the same clothing, except for him, who his difference is he has different colored pants. Pants. But, and I thought that was pretty clever. Mm-hmm. That's a way so that your star doesn't get lost in the choreography. Because he does move around a lot in the background. And so, but like, yeah, he starts off with this haircutting machine. Completely fucks it up, gives this guy a samurai do. Which I think looks pretty bitchin'. But he doesn't seem to approve. So he's chasing this guy around, hitting him with wet sponges, because it's a carnival game. He doesn't just have wet sponges in his pockets. But like, although I guess it could. Things are weird in England. Hi, England. But so then he hides from him in like an actor's tent. And the actors are doing this song called Old Bamboo, you know? And this is my favorite song.
Oh, really?
This is my favorite song in this movie.
Hey, the old bamboo, you better never bother with the old bamboo. You can have the hat from your bumper's shoe, but you better never bother with the old bamboo. When punching on the beautiful tent,
You use a sturdy pole.
I really like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, the title song. But no, this one's the most fun. And all the choreography and all that shit. It's just very fun, very vaudeville. Mm-hmm. Really, really fun. It's kind of this movie's attempt to be Step in Time, you know? Mm-hmm. So that's my favorite. That's the scene that I would watch in YouTube clips. And so but like people start throwing money at it after it's done, and he catches in the hat, and he has the car by the next scene. So I'm like, okay, so that all really happened. So yeah, he could just be a fucking dancer and use that to pay for his inventing.
Yeah.
You know, and then like later on, it's like, oh, first name Pox. It's like Mr. Potts, and famed dancer, is now an inventor, wouldn't you know? He invented this thing called the paste of the tooth. You put it on your bristles, and you use that to brush your teeth instead of grime. Revolutionary. My teeth have never felt not grimier.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if Dick Van Dyke is the actor, like the character canonly can dance. That's my headcanon.
Yeah. And so like he, which by the way, as a kid I always thought that Dick Van Dyke was the guy from It's a Wonderful Life. It's not. But just because it was black and white, Dick Van Dyke was a name I knew. So I was like, oh, that must be him.
Old guy, obviously.
Like old movie, Dick Van Dyke. That he was in all of them, right? They didn't have another. It was just him. It's just him, Julie Andrews, and Mickey Mouse. That's it. That's all they had. Every extra was just them again. Child logic. But yeah, so he gets the car, and then there's a montage of him just completely fixing it up. He takes the fucking chimney shield guard, whatever it is, off, and just completely fucking destroys the living room with soot. He grabs a fucking boat and fucking is bouncing his way across the field with it to get it into the thing. He's so casual about
the whole thing too.
He's just lost in it. He's in the zone. You know? So he finally finishes it, and it comes out, and it's the coolest fucking car I've ever seen.
Yeah, like, geez, man.
When it comes to that kind of car, like the motor car kind of car, you know what I'm talking about. Those old-timey, leather-seated, open air, not a Model T, it's slightly before that, or slightly after that. I don't fucking remember. But like that kind of old-timey ass, not Victorian, but like, Englandy motor car.
Yeah.
A motorcade. Best one. Like, it has 4 headlights. It has 4 headlights, the 2, like, round spotlights in the front, and then it has these things that at least look like headlights. We never actually see the car at night, I don't think, so we never actually see the headlights working. But, like, they're 2 headlight-looking things that are where the side mirrors are, which also I'm pretty sure it only has 1 side mirror because that was the custom at the time. Because again, they're open to the air, so you could literally just go and turn all the way around. There's nothing blocking your vision. The only time it gets hard is when you have to look, because that takes longer. And for the audience, I'm turning to my right, which when you're holding a wheel, that is a little bit harder than to the left, at least for me. So you had a mirror on that one. But, where was I going with this? Oh, right. So the things where those are look like old, like, oil lanterns.
Yeah, those
and
are
it's
cool.
So cool. It's like silver, gold, and red is the color scheme of this car. Oh my god. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. That's the classic. That's the classic movie car.
That's the car Scott would want.
Yes, actually. Especially if I lived in California where it almost never rains and is sunny and warm all year. Fuck yeah. Give me that shit.
The kids are all, yay!
Yay, it's a motor car.
Let's go for a ride.
Let's go for a ride to the pub and get drunk because we're Cockney. And then
we get our title song.
Yeah, Chitty Bang Bang, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Inspired by the fact that the engine goes and sometimes the exhaust goes. So it's like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is what the name of the car is. It's like a Pokemon. It only says its name. And so they almost hit Truly Scrumptious again. She goes into the pond, hangs out with them for the day. It's like, oh hey, as apology, here we're going on a picnic. Come along. We're going to the beach. You have a swimsuit with you? Of course you do. Of course you do. It's 1910s. Of course you do. You have a tiny little handbag. That's where it is. So they do that, and they're having a day at the beach, and that's when the movie starts to get weird.
Yeah.
Because the kids are like, Daddy, tell us a story about the pirates. About the pirates? Okay. Pirates. All right. Daddy, that's a ship. That's a pirate ship. It's a pirate ship of a German guy who's not a pirate, but is a landlocked dirigible owning, but also owns a pirate ship baron. Yep, that's what I'm going with. And he wants the car. Why does he want the car? I don't know, because he just really fucking like this car. I mean, because it was invented by the glorious inventor, Potts. And it's so invented that it's magic. Yep. That's why he wants it.
And this is what the rest of the movie is.
What the rest of the movie is him telling this story. Now, the difference between the novel and the book, from what I read in the wiki, maybe I'm wrong, I haven't read the book itself, but it seems like everything that is in the dream, so like it's dream logic, it's not what the car can actually do, maybe, can do in the book. Because in the book, apparently there's a thing where it's like the car, out of the love of the children and the care and effort put into it by the inventor, essentially begins to gain sentience.
Oh.
it is imbued with the magic of human whatever the fuck, and human kindness and sugar, spice, everything nice, and chemical X. So like, he somehow instructs the inventor, oh, flip that switch, and suddenly it can fly out of a traffic jam, or it can turn into a hover car and shit like that. So, but in the movie, this is all just a story to entertain the kids. Where weirdly there's this one part of the story where the kids are asleep after escaping the boat, because it's like, oh well, what we didn't notice as the pirates were showing up is that the tide has rolled in and now we're in the water.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, but what are we going to do? Well, the car can float now.
We got a raft.
It has an inflatable raft that makes the wheels go sideways, like GTA Vice City when you have cars on water cheat on.
Oh.
Which I always loved that cheat as a kid because I had seen Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. So when the cars flipped up on their sides, I was like, oh shit, it's like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. That's cool. I don't know if that's what they were going for.
But Scott Brain was like, yay.
Yeah. And also my dad's an asshole and was like, no, those cars just exist. Oh. And it's like, what? It's like, yeah, they're mostly in Europe, but like those cars do exist where the wheels flip up and it can go on water for only short distances in real life. But yeah.
Parents just troll the shit out of... Like, I was laughing, like, during... Like, my mom and I were discussing, like, babies and kids at one point during the holiday. And she's like, yeah, babies can be kind of weird for some people. But once they're toddlers, it's fun because then you could just troll them and it becomes really funny. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that's real fucked up. I mean, what is Santa if not the world's biggest troll move?
Yeah.
Hope nobody's listening to this with their toddler. He's a big troll move because he's not real. Anyway,
Scott was gonna say, Scott, you can't save this. Don't try.
He's not real. Grow up. Grow up and become angry and bitter with the world like the rest of us.
Scott.
You shits. The world doesn't love you. Fuck off. But anyway, back to this children's movie. So they go around the boat for a little bit, and they're like, haha, you can't hit us, we're faster than you. That's right, Daddy made the car the best car. The kids aren't even bad actors, I just like doing a terrible Cockney accent. I mean, they're not great actors, they're average child actors of the time. But they're not Mary Poppins kid actors. But, they're doing their best. So they get away. Then there's like a random scene where the kids are asleep and Potts drops off Truly. Mm-hmm. But then in the very next scene, she's in the car again.
Yep.
Like she has her scene of like, oh, I think I'm falling in love with him because we shared a day together. Mm-hmm. And then, no, that scene didn't happen. They're in the car. Like, she's in the car. Everything's fine. Is it the next day? I don't fucking know.
I assumed it was the next day because there was an outfit change.
I guess, but like, why is she there again? Like, why is she? I know it's a story.
Because the story needs her to be there.
Yeah, it's like, I know it's a story it's telling to the kids, so maybe you just wanted to keep, having her in there, or maybe she also was improvising because the kids were clearly improvising. Because there's that line where it's like, you always told us it was a magic car, Daddy. And it's like, I did. I mean, yes, I did. It is magic. I invented magic and put it into the car. Where the fuck is the story going? So anyway, these two spies for the Baron, who are introduced wearing parts of the ship.
And it was so silly just watching them just kind of blah, 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 out of the ocean.
Yeah. Which always made me giggle like an idiot as a kid. I was just like, they're wearing things that aren't clothes. That's not clothing. That's stupid.
This is, they try to pull off some Looney Tunes shit.
They do. It's straight up Looney Tunes. They literally create like a giant matte painting of the tunnel that is already a tunnel. And like, they're like, okay, we're going to catch him in this. Because in the middle of the road, we have a truck with a ramp and it's going to drive the car into it. I'm like, man, it's a good thing everyone in this fucking town drives in the middle of the road. Like, if they had driven even just slight to the side.
Yeah, ouchies.
But it doesn't work. They don't catch Chitty Chitty Bang Bang because Truly's dad is behind the wheel, doesn't recognize his daughter, even though she's wearing the same fucking hat she always does. And is just like, move out of the way, I'm important, I'm a businessman. And so they're like, okay, I guess we'll take this turn and go a different way. And so he goes through the tunnel and gets captured. And then off screen, they do something to him because the next scene they're wearing his clothing. And I'm like, did they kill him? We never see him again, as far as I remember, until after the story portion is done. So in the story, is he dead? Is Truly okay with that? Passive-aggressive dig at her dad?
I mean, I feel like...
Like, probably just, it's implied, it's like, oh, we knocked him out and took their clothes and car.
Yeah.
But we don't know that. And I could very easily Photoshop blood onto those clothes. Mm-hmm. Which would mean that I was right.
Throughout all this madness, I kind of forgot they were quote-unquote pirates.
They're not.
Quote-unquote. And
so, anyway, they use that, call in the dirigible, because they think they found Potts, but it's actually the father/grandfather. Potts' father, the kid's grandfather, who constantly is daydreaming that he's traveling, because he wants to travel. Like, so he always goes into his little imagination hut that looks like an outhouse.
It was just basically like the imagination box from SpongeBob.
Yeah. Yeah, and so, like, he's always just dressing like he's going to different places and imagining he's there. Which is really, really sad when you think about it. This poor old guy.
He has no money. He wants to travel. This is the best he can do.
And so, like, he gets picked up by this blimp. They just hook to the thing.
They have a blimp.
And instead of it, like, you know, ripping off the foundation and just the walls coming up, it just goes... and it's away it goes. Whee! And so they're driving home, and it's like, wait a minute, what the fuck? All right, we gotta go after him. Well, how are we going to get after him, Daddy? The car can fly now. Boop.
And then we had our intermission.
Yeah, like they fall off a cliff, and it's like intermission time. Time to pee. And then it comes back. They go off the cliff, and it's like, all right, push button, and it's like, car can fly now. Fuck it. I don't care where the story goes anymore. It's a magic school bus now. And so they fly after it. And then the grandpa has a song, which is another song I really, really love. It's not in my top 2, but it would definitely be my 3rd favorite.
Oh, the posh, travelling life, the travelling life for me. First cabin and captain's table, regal company. Whenever I'm bored, I travel abroad, but ever so properly. Port out, starboard home, posh with a capital P-O-S-H, posh.
It's not as memorable, but it's very fun when watching it. Mm-hmm. Where it's just him being like, oh, sick, I'm actually really enjoying this because I'm in the air.
This is
just
fun.
Going somewhere. I'm totally down for this.
I'm having a straight up good time right now.
Like now I'm going to be traveling around. This is it. This is the good life for me. I'm going to be sipping tea with royals and having them get me, seconds. And like... And he's actually keeping a very, very positive attitude, even as his box is getting slowly submerged into the ocean because there's too much weight in the blimp. Because it's a very tiny blimp. And so they throw the spies off of the blimp. And it's just like, well, what do we do now? We start swimming. I don't know how to swim. Well, then just stop drowning. It's not wrong.
No.
You stop drowning, you're probably going to be swimming.
And we know.
They go to the castle that inspired Disney Castle.
Like, we were staring at it, I'm like, yeah, this is just the castle.
Yeah, it's a real castle that exists in Germany, and I guess they were filming at it, or they were filming near it, or they got permission to do the B-roll footage and then film somewhere else. I don't know. But they had B-roll footage of it, and, like, as soon as it turned to see the backside, and I'm like, and there's Sleeping Beauty Castle. And Kat went, wait, holy shit, that is Sleeping Beauty Castle. And I'm like, yep. Because literally, Walt went to see that castle on a trip, and was like, I want that one. Build me that one. But yeah, so it's that castle. I don't know the name of it, but if you just search in castle that inspired Disneyland, you'll find it.
Oh yeah.
And so they touch down in the village nearby, and very quickly everybody's like, shit, the child catcher's coming. Everyone get inside.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
What the fuck is a child catcher, and why does a government need one? And so then everybody's like, what the fuck? Like, the 4 out-of-towners are like, what's happening? Why'd everybody go inside? What? And then like a toy maker is like, fucking get in here, asshole. You're gonna get dead. You're gonna catch yourself a dead. And so they go in and they hide with him. And the child catcher comes out looking like a mix between fucking Pinocchio and Slugworth from Willy Wonka.
He just had like the nose was just woo.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, the new Dead by Daylight chapter. Sick. It's very minimalist. It's not like he's a monster. He's just a creepy dude. Mm-hmm. But again, he looks like something that could be out of Pinocchio, the Disney animated movie. Like, he looks like he could be the puppet master guy, or one of the people who's, taking the kids to Pleasure Island. Ooh, they should not have named it Pleasure Island, now that I think about that.
No, it's really bad.
I mean, yeah, it is really bad. They turn into jackasses, literally.
Yeah.
And then they get sold off into slavery until they die. And they never get caught in the movie.
Yeah.
They just get away with that. Apparently they're going to remake Pinocchio. Possibly Guillermo del Toro is on that. Hey, Disney, if you want to actually fix something in that, could we have them get caught?
Yeah, let's get some sweet justice.
Maybe have them get killed by Monstro. Just something like that.
Doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be graphic, even though they deserve it.
Yeah.
Like just a big old.
Don't even necessarily need to undonkeyify the kids. Just make sure that it, it's shown in the movie that it's not gonna happen again. But yeah, no, all of those kids die. In fact, I think in the book, the one that was Pinocchio's friend, he then finds later on as a donkey right as he's dying from being overworked. Oh. So, the original Pinocchio book is fucked up. He murders Jiminy.
What? You're shitting me.
Throws a thing at him and smashes him against the wall.
You're shitting me.
Nope.
Oh. Every now and then, when he tells me something terrible, I hope he's bullshitting me because he does that.
Nope.
Aww.
But yeah, so where was I in the plot? Oh, right. So they're with the toy guy.
The broest of bros.
Mm-hmm. They're with the toy man, and the child catcher's like, I smell him in here. I've got a big prosthetic nose that smells him.
Weird.
Yeah, and again, the design, I'd forgotten. It's so family friendly, appropriate, creepy. Mm-hmm. It's just creepy enough where you're like, ugh, but not, oh god.
Oh god, I was gonna say cover the children's eyes.
Yeah, no, but so he's like, I don't trust a man who makes toys in a kingdom where children are forbidden. And I'm like, how do you enforce that on a kingdom-wide scale? Is this the only town in the kingdom? I highly doubt it. You have child catchers in all the towns? How do you plan on keeping the population growing? Do you not? Do you want the kingdom to fall in the ruin? Why have you not mutinied?
Hush, this is a children's story.
Why has no one mutinied? French Revolution, get the guillotine. Chop his heads off, let him eat cake. But why are you doing this? What's the end goal here? But no, the end goal is that the fucking Baron is a giant fucking man baby and is just a toddler himself, basically. His horse is a fucking rocking horse, like mechanical rolly horsey. And he wants the car because it float, and that fun. Ha ha ha. Also in this time, the grandpa has another song with a bunch of inventors, one of which used to be a midget, but apparently in torture got stretched to the point where he's the tallest there. Oh. And they say the word midget.
Yeah, they did.
They do not specify if it's a little person or a dwarf, so I don't know. Actually, a little person might be a catch-all. So I could have just said little person. But it says it in the movie midget, so that was what was on my brain. Sorry. But, yeah, and I'm like, oh. So is that like a hindrance, or is the horrible, horrible spine pain too much? Ooh. Like is that helpful that you can read shit now, or is it just always in pain? Because I'm guessing always in pain. The points of your spine that should be like touching are probably like.
But I do remember you said you really liked the message of the Grandpa's song in this segment.
Yes, because it's basically, I think it's called "Grow the Roses of Success," and it's just, which is very cool for a movie in 1968. It's not like that was a new sentiment then, but it's fun to see. You know, a movie of that time being like, yeah, no, you're gonna fuck up and fail. That just happens, but it's not the end of the world. Like,
you'll just be more likely to succeed next time.
Yeah, it's like you're gonna fuck up. You're not gonna get things right, but like, you can just use that. and they even do something where, like, I feel like even today we kind of mythologize a lot of like of the past's historic figures. You know, we kind of mythologize Einstein. You know, of like this person where, although I guess we mythologize him of this thing where it's like, oh, he failed math, which he didn't. It's like he failed math in grade school, but then look at him, he created the atom or whatever. You know, I don't know. Fuck it, we don't care about that in this.
This is a science podcast.
Yeah, but yeah. So that song's pretty cool. I like that. That would probably be fourth. And so back in the toy maker shop, the child catcher doesn't find them because they're disguised as Jack-in-the-Boxes. And so it's like, I still think they're there, but I'll be back. I'm very creepy. And he like crawls away on the walls. No, he doesn't. He slurks away. And by the way, slurk is now a word that combines slink and shirk. So, slurks away. And it's like, oh, okay, well, we need to, you know, like, they captured the car, you know, that they wanted, and we can't let them have that And so it's like, all right, we need to get it back, and we need to save Grandpa and all this stuff. And it's like, hey, well, how the fuck are you going to do that? No. And it's like, let's go think of some shit. And then Truly is like, I'm going to go try to find some food. You kids don't fuck up. And they're like, and they're, you know, just sitting there minding their own business, not fucking up. And then the child catcher comes back as the candy man. I've got all the sweets. I've got lollies. I've got tarts. You know, all this. I got treacle tarts and unicorn farts and ice cream and brownies and cookies. All the things that children like. Come into my van.
Yay!
And the boy is like, yo, I think we should fuck up right now. And the girl's like, do you think we should fuck up? I don't think we should fuck up. But he said he had ice cream. Oh, well, in that case. Yay! And, like, all the kids start running after him. And, like, I love that it shows a thing of him, like, you know, he's, like, fronting. It's like, oh, damn, didn't get him. Wait, Mr. Candyman. He just goes, got him. But it's like, ew, hello, children. And, like, all of the adults are like, children, stop fucking up. We're not actually going to run after you. We're just going to call after you. Say, don't fuck up. No, you're fucking up. Oh, well, we did all we could.
Nothing could be done.
Again, literally, it's one dude. Beat him to death. Just get... One of you has to be a rope maker. Tie it around his neck. Tie it to a horse. Bye. You know? Just like halfway down the road, you just hear... It's like, well, he's not a problem anymore. Or even better, tie one end to his neck and a horse, the other end to his feet and a horse, slap them in the ass and have them go separate ways. 2 minutes flat, his entrails are everywhere. These are actual punishments that people used.
But the kids get in the child catcher.
They get into the white van, yes.
And it just immediately falls apart, be like, gotcha.
Ha! Again, that was another thing that makes me feel like that could have been in Pinocchio. Because I think there is a thing like that where it's like, oh, you know, get into the puppet van and then, haha, it was actually a cage. He gets them And it drives past Truly, and it's like, children, I just left. I told you not to fuck up. It's like, Truly, help, we fucked up. No, we're dead as fuck. Oh, woe is us. And then like the dad and the toy maker run out, and it's like, what happened? Did the kids fuck up? They fucked up.
Well, fuck.
Up. And then it's like, all right, well, shit. Okay, now we need to fucking have a plan, and we need to get in there. And it's like, okay, I think I have an idea. We'll turn you into living toys.
Excuse me?
And it's like, no, hold on. Look at our sewer kids. I'm going to talk right at their faces about how they're shit kids and how they don't know shit. Isn't that right, child? I'm hungry. You are, in fact, hungry. That's true. It's like they're forced to live in the sewers to hide, and they crawl around the castle to get the food. And it's like, wait, they're crawling around the castle? Yes. They can go around the castle undetected? Yes. And none of you adults have ever thought to have them poison the Baron's food. Oh, shit. Yeah, no, that would have solved our problem real quick. Meanwhile, the grandfather is trying to make the car float. You know, not Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, a different car. But it's like, you're the inventor parts. And it's like, well, you'd shoot me if you knew I wasn't. So, yes, I am. And it's like, we'll make the car float like your car can float. Fuck. And that's where the Grow the Roses song comes in. They try to do it, and instead of it floating, it has an ejector seat. Whoa! And
It launches the girl.
It launches the Baroness. And it's like, oh! And it's like, don't worry, dear, I'll get you down. And fucking points a rifle at her, starts shooting. Shoots the dress, which is like making her parachute because it's a big foofy dress.
Yeah, I'm like, why is he shooting at her?
And it's like, I'll get you down. Poof. And then it's like, falls into the water and goes, oh, you all right, my dear? I'm all right. Damn. It's like, oh, he was literally trying to Mordor her. And that leads up to a thing where it's like, oh, it's the king's birthday, so we have an inn. Because I'm a toy maker, and the fucking Baron is a man-child. And so it's like, the Baroness is like, oh, are you ready for your birthday? Blah, 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 blah. And they have this, like, you know, nice romantic song about, it's like, oh, you're my coochie-coo and you're my teddy bear. And the whole time the Baron is secretly trying to murder her.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Tries to choke her out with her own hair.
It was weird. It was weirdly funny, but
also
very
like
dark.
Weirdly dark for a 60s child film. Freaking tries to strangle her, tries to chop her in half with an axe by knocking on a thing of armor, and even the suit of armor like does the whole oh man of missing. So that's kind of funny. And then like tries to like has her, you know, fall into a table and tries to like have a spike from a chandelier fall and impale her. And that one she actually notices. And it's like, it's like, no, don't worry about that. We're singing. We're so in love. Goodbye, trapdoor.
You're my little choochie face.
And you're my teddy bear.
It's like, oh, I'm in the door again. Hello. It's like, how are you not dead? God damn it. The one thing I wanted for my birthday was to murder you.
Aww.
But for some reason, I can't just, you know, take the gun I clearly had and shoot you.
But no, instead for his birthday, he got some Trojan horses.
He got some Trojan horses. It's like, I made you these incredibly, you know, these incredibly advanced technological marvels. And opens it up, it's like, a doll! A doll! I have hundreds of dolls! I don't want another doll, Mommy! And it's like, no, you haven't seen it yet. And it's like, not only is it a life-size doll that looks exactly like a human, don't worry about that, but also if I wind it up, it plays Scott's favorite song. And that's the one where it's like, Susan Ann Howe is like doing the thing where she's not only spinning around, I'm assuming that her feet are being supported in somehow, because one of them is in a high heel and is having to be like turned up, like the heel. Like if you move your foot angled up, like you're about to press a gas pedal, she's having to hold it like that.
Yeah.
The whole time while spinning in place, like in a rotating like Lazy Susan kind of thing, like a music box. Which either A, that just she had to practice that, because I know drummers have to do that a lot, so you have to practice that, like build up that tendon strength, or B, there was something that was supporting her there. Hopefully the other one, because that sounds so annoying. But she's doing a very impressive Mr. Roboto.
Oh, it was very good.
Like, she's doing like basically clockwork movements, like that makes her seem mechanical, and she's basically like, acting like an animatronic, but not a good one. But she's singing this like song about like, essentially, can you even tell I'm not a toy, I'm a human being, and I'm tricking you. And so, but like her voice is very beautiful. The imagery of it, of like, a life-sized music box doing this with the mirrors and the movements, and I'm like, oh, this is just very pretty.
Yeah.
And then Dick Van Dyke's box falls open, and he's a rag doll.
Oh yeah, this whole scene was impressive with how they.
Again, I'm guessing some stuff was either A, shot in reverse and then played forward, and then like, or there were some like wires, or there was some kind of trickery, because some of the movements he was doing I don't think a human body can do.
No. Like
he was getting really freaking low, and where his center of gravity should have just had him falling on his ass, but he wasn't. He was staying upright, basically like there were marionette strings on him. And I'm like, either I'm extremely uncoordinated because I'm not a gymnast dancer, or they're doing some trickery here, because that doesn't look possible.
Like literally, like I have a note in here. It's like, but seriously, how do his legs move like that?
How them legs work? And so it's just like that, and then the best part of this sequence that makes the song for me is then it does a callback to when the kids sang about Truly Scrumptious. Which is kind of a two-part song, because they're just like, it's a song about how there are certain things that just have the names that you would expect them to have. Like, as soon as you know their name, you're like, oh yeah, of course that's what that's called. Mm-hmm. And they're like, and you are the same, Truly Scrumptious, because in our eyes, you look like a truly scrumptious person. Don't read into that the wrong way. You just have a truly scrumptious soul. You're nice, and we don't want to eat you. Definitely not what we were going for. But like it combines the truly scrumptious and all that stuff with the can you even tell I'm a human being song. And that duet of like the competing duet is something that I always really like, when it's two sets of lyrics going into time, and it's essentially two different perspectives of the same song. Which is what that is, because it's him basically singing that he's attracted to her, and she's singing that she can't tell if he knows that she's attracted to him. Like,
what do you see?
Scrumptious.
You people
You're
gazing at me.
truly scrumptious.
like, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I really like that. That's just really sweet. I remembered that scene as a kid a lot. It's very nostalgic for me. I remember watching that scene over and over and over again. Just because like the choreography is so good. Even when it's simple, it's just really good. And I'm just like, that's just a really nice, wholesome scene. And then all hell breaks loose.
Children from the walls.
Yeah, children from the walls. They crawl under the tables, subterfuge style. They clamp all of the aristocratic adults who are there legs together so they can't move. A hook drops down and Dick Van Dyke attaches it to the Baron and like hoists him up by his own petard. And like which is very different. Then they throw a huge fucking net all over them just for good measure. And they overthrow the castle. The guards come in, and then Chitty Bang Bang is just like, hey, by the way, I'm in the movie still.
Yeah.
I can drive myself now. I'm a living being.
Another thing I loved about this scene, you remember those 2 spies that apparently died before?
Yeah.
No, they come back.
Yeah.
They come out of the ocean. They see all this nonsense
And
going
they
on.
go, rip it. It's just like, nope. It's like, huh. Yeah, I'm not fucking with that. Time to go to Operation Paperclip. I mean, they're German. They could have gotten there. Were you a Nazi in World War II? Come to the American government. We want you for some reason to fight the commies.
Yeah, car has a mind of its own. Kind of goes beep beep. I'm here.
Beep beep. I'm here, and everybody goes, oh shit. I guess the war's over. Like that's it. That they win.
Yeah,
they have a living car that it could kill us all. I've read the book Christine.
The family drives off because family fun adventure of overthrowing a government.
Yeah, good time for all. I remember when I did that with my dad.
Oh, really?
No. But I did do it with a group of friends once. Essentially, we kind of had it was basically like the Goonies meets Blues Brothers, where we were trying to save an orphanage, but also the cops were after us for reasons I don't quite remember. But we were on a mission from God, so, it was fine. And then the Illinois Nazis showed up. There was a huge car chase, just like a 40-car pileup right behind our bikes. It was fucking weird. Then we all got arrested.
Oh.
But, they couldn't find any hard evidence that we did anything because we kept hiding our faces from the cameras. Because we had this kid who was, like, really good at tech. We called him Tech. And, he blurred out all the faces and was like, well, I mean, sure, those are the same bikes, but that can't possibly be you. And then one of the cops was like, they're wearing the same clothing. And the judge was like, fuck you, overturn. Then we went home. And also Pirate Treasure was there. Yeah, so...
They fly away, and they're back on the beach.
Yeah, and they're back on the beach. The story is done. They drive away. Truly Scrumptious goes home. And, Dick Van Dyke squarely puts his foot right down his throat. Not even into his mouth, into his throat. And it's like, oh, that was so ridiculous. The kid's saying, we got married. And it's like, well, why is that so ridiculous? Because we just met a day ago? And half of the conversations have been us bickering? It's like, well, that's just what romance is. I don't think it is. I mean, I have 2 kids. I clearly had a significant other at one point. Probably dead. Died by off-screen sickness.
Got another one.
Got another one. Always goes for moms. Sometimes dads, but usually moms. And then it's like, well, we're from different worlds, I'm a lowly, poor, mansion-owning inventor, and you're an heiress to a candy factory owner. What is this movie? It's like, well, if I had said that, you'd call me a snob. You're probably right. And wait, why are you walking away? Wait, what'd I do? What? Aww. And then, they go back to the house, and Lord Scrumptious, Lord Daddy Scrumptious, is there. And he's like, by the way, your candy, we tested it. It's perfectly safe for dogs to eat. They love them. They love learning how to whistle. It calls them. And, we're calling it, instead of Toot Sweets, Woof Sweets. So, we're going to have candy for dogs. We're getting into the dog treat business. This candy company. Dog candy. We're going to make a mint. And it's like, okay. Well, you're rich now. You sign the contract. I will, but first, I'm going to go bang your daughter.
Like, this dude. But she was already driving back.
Yep, she's driving back because it's like, oh, your dad's at the crazy inventor guy. It's like, oh, well, I bet. And then she goes to the pond again. Gets out, and they're like, oh, okay, maybe it's not so weird that we get married after knowing each other for literally a collective of 24 hours, maybe. Possibly closer to 12. And so it's like, oh, yes, let's kiss. Oh, now we have to get married because this... that's how it works. I guess kissing is code for fucking in this movie.
Literally in the span of 24 hours, he goes from poor mansion man to being rich for an invention and marrying into money.
Apparently I need to move to England. Fuck America. That's not the land of opportunity. English countryside near Candy Factory is where it's at.
But yeah, they kiss, they get in the car.
Yeah, and it starts driving, and then as they're talking, specifically Dick Van Dyke's going on this weirdly disconnected monologue from anything else. It's like, oh yes, dreams can come true, but you have to stay grounded. You have to firmly plant your feet and be responsible and not have too high of expectations. You can't just have your head in the clouds. You have to stay grounded. You can't just be flying all over the place loftily. And meanwhile, as he's saying all of that stuff that's going to be ironic here in a second, you notice that not only are they blue screened for some reason, but also the footage is starting to get higher and higher and then tilting, and oh my god, they're in the air. As he's going like, you have to stay grounded, and you can't have your dreams too high, and blah, 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 blah. Airplane terminology. And it's like, and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is flying. The car is flying, doesn't even have the wings at the moment, it's just flying. Was it all a story? Yes, but can the car fly now? Maybe?
We never really get an actual answer for that.
It could just be like Grease, where it's supposed to be more symbolic of, like, it's like, oh, they're flying because they just feel like they're flying. Because everything's looking up, I guess. But then also the film ends with shots that are like showing the hood of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang flying over the countryside. And it's like, but no, that seems like it's fucking flying. Because that's not even blue screen. They just attached the front of the car to a fucking helicopter or something for those shots. At least that's what it looks like. That or maybe they just had the thing and it was like on a rounded projector thing. That could also be, but like it's just like no, the car can just fly. I guess it can just do that. Magic.
And exit music.
Yeah, that's it. It's exit music. It literally says that on the screen. Exit music. This is the music where you exit. Go home. And that's Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Weird little film. Don't know what to make of it, but I know I love it.
Now, it was again. I feel like we've been getting this a lot. Well, maybe because we're still writing off. Like, the last thing we watched for the podcast was Home Alone 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Once again, it kind of had I feel like I just watched two separate movies here.
Yeah, a little bit.
And I enjoyed kind of the slow pace of the first one, but then I feel like with the second half, with the adventure and in this other kingdom, that's when I started feeling like I'm like, okay, this is dragging on longer than I feel like it needs to. But
yeah, like literally, they could have taken out the thing of it being a dream, and just had it how that goes. Maybe just have some more wacky shenanigans happening in the first part before the story to kind of set up that this is just a wacky ass world. And then you wouldn't need to have that separator. Mm-hmm. So, like, if I was redoing it, which I don't think they'll ever remake this movie, it's like, good lord, we do not need a Chitty Chitty Bang Bang gritty remake.
No, thank you.
Quickly get into the car.
But, I feel like the grandpa, would have been the perfect introduction to, oh, this is going to be wackier than you think it is.
The car may go chitty chitty, but the gun go bang bang.
Boo.
Admitted, that's what Hollywood would do.
I know.
Starring Bruce Willis as Potts. And friggin' Jamie Lee Curtis is truly scrumptious. It's just like, I'm into sweets. Sweet bullets.
Oh, no.
But yeah, so what overall would you say that you would recommend this movie to people?
I would say if you're in the mood for something very lighthearted and you're not looking for I want to commit to watching this whole thing front to back and analyzing every detail.
Yeah.
It's just a fun okay, let's just chill and have this playing in the background kind of movie.
Yeah. It maybe this is just because how I watched it as a kid, but it feels very much like a movie that you put on because you got nothing else to do on a Sunday.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which we're recording this on a Sunday, but I'm not even talking about a Sunday night. I'm talking like midday Sunday. You know, you've already done your shopping or whatever you were gonna do, or you're just hanging out on a Sunday. You ain't got no plans, you know, and that's fine sometimes. And maybe you're playing your DS or scrolling through your phone.
This would be a very background movie.
Yeah, it's and not even a background movie as in like, oh, it's dull but it's noise. No, it's very enjoyable, but it's at a much calmer pace.
And the background music definitely is like nice for that too.
It's at a very calm pace. So, you know, it's like and you know that you've got some time before the really iconic scene, so you can take a breath to be like, all right, what's going on Twitter? Still garbage? Yeah. Now what's going on Discord? Oh, my friend posted a meme. Nice. You know, or like I don't know, for if we have older viewers, what's on the funny pages? Do we have any older viewers? If we do you guys still read funny pages? Are newspapers still a thing?
Yeah.
Are they? I swear I haven't seen one in like 5 years.
I subscribed to the Chicago Tribune for like a hot minute because my mom wanted the Sunday paper delivered to the house.
Why would you subscribe to it if she wanted it?
Because I wanted the online newspaper.
Fair enough.
So, and it was basically just like, you can get this too for basically nothing if you want. And I'm like, okay.
Get the online news and we'll throw paper at you.
Basically, they're desperate because newspaper is a dying media.
Yeah, which there's conflicting feelings about that because I feel like the newspaper, because it's a slower media, it's maybe not. It's not like I've run a newspaper very long, but I feel like it'd be easier to get sources verified. Mm-hmm. You know, actually like double check, peer review. Stuff like that, because it's got to go to print. You better make sure. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, going to print on a website is just published.
You gotta get the clicks first.
Yeah, get the clicks first, and then later on you can do an edit or an addendum. Mm-hmm. And it's like, addendum? All of this was bullshit.
Whoopsie daisies.
Uh-oh. Nobody actually came back to the article to read the addendum. Oh well, guess that's more misinformation.
But but going back to what you were saying with like just chilling in the background, like there are some, like when I started to learn how to crochet, there was like stuff I would play in the background because it was just chill. Like the Great British Bake Off was a show that I loved watching in the background. This would be something I would have been like watching in the background while I was crocheting.
I watched this a lot while reading comics, waiting for my mom to pick me up from my dad's house on every other weekend. And I feel like I would only rewind it part way because I knew I'd want to get to certain parts before my mom got there. But like, yeah. And I think that part was when the story started. Mm-hmm. Because the rest is kind of just preamble. I mean, there's fun stuff to it. There's good songs. But the most fun part is during the story.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, and I'd recommend this just because I feel like this is just a very fun, chill, wholesome movie. Especially if you're someone who liked Mary Poppins or likes Dick Van Dyke.
Oh, definitely. If you're a fan of either, definitely watch this.
Watch this. It'll get you right there. Mm-hmm. And and maybe you need that because looks like the Mary Poppins Dark Ride got canceled.
Oh yeah.
God damn it. The fucking cooking rat gets a ride, but, Mary Poppins, the character who's been around for decades, still doesn't have hers. Mm-hmm. But
after the shit show of 2020, and this is definitely a good, I just want to, feel happy for a little while kind of movie.
It's a very happy movie. Mm-hmm. Even when it's at its, low point, when all the characters are at their low point, it's not really all that low.
They jump right back into it.
Yeah, because even when it's the sewer of kids that are hiding to stay safe, and it's like the sewer literally looks like a fucking scene from Pirates of the Caribbean.
That's what I said. When we saw that scene, I'm like, this looks like it could be a ride.
It literally looks like the bridge where the hairy-legged pirate is there with the swinging his leg over the boats. It's that bridge. So it's just, that it's just that kind of movie. It's very chill, very fun. If you have, kids or kids visiting like with family or something like that, it's safe for them.
Very.
Hell, they might even get a kick out of it. So, yeah, it's just a very fun movie. I felt like we should start off 2021 with something chill, something nice, something wholesome, and something optimistic, let's hope that this year's better.
I'm hoping.
Let's hope that this year's better. So, from us two stooges who are still stuck in 2020, good luck with this year, everybody. Good luck with this year, us. And so far, from where we were last year, we have gone up so much. Like, we're still pretty small. But I'd say we've grown a good amount. Like, I think both of our Twitters are still pretty small. The podcast Twitter is still pretty small. But our downloads, people are watching, people are listening, and I appreciate that, guys.
Yeah, we do. God, it's been, like, when was our first episode? It was like December of 19 or something like that. Yeah.
Basically a year ago.
It's been a year, yeah. Holy shit. That flew.
And, and I just want you to know that we appreciate it. I hope that in the future we can keep growing, maybe, have some more dialogue between us. We got that one email that we talked about. But, like, internet content like this, it's important to have a discourse, right? Because we don't know if we're doing a good job if you don't tell us. If you're like, hey, I'm liking the idea, but here's what I think would make it better, I'm willing to listen, man.
Yeah.
I'm still new at this.
You can't be a good artist without being able to take some critique.
Yeah. And I might whine about it to myself, but I'll take it into consideration. I might have that little thing of like, they don't like me. But then I'm like, well, actually, no, if they didn't like me, they wouldn't comment to begin with.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then our YouTube channel, we've jumped up to 21 subscribers. Still small in the grand scheme of things, but we cherish every single one of those subscribers. Because that's showing us that there are people there who are willing to try. And sure, some of those are our friends, people we know. Literally one guy was like, hey, didn't you say you had a YouTube channel? Yeah, we're literally one subscriber away from me having to do something I don't like to do. Doing something you don't want to do? All right, well, subscribed.
And I'm just like, yay!
And that was the Persona 4 video.
I got to make him play a JRPG.
But yeah, so until the next episode, thank you for this year, and see you.
Yeah, we appreciate every single one of you. See you guys next time.
Bye.
Goodbye.